Hey guys, and welcome back. I wanted to start off by apologizing for how long it's taken to get this episode out to you guys. I know that seems to be a big thing with me throughout this whole series, is, me coming around and saying, oh yeah, sorry, it's taken a while. Anyway, I hope to explain kind of why this one was late and a few other things in this episode. So hopefully you guys will stick around and listen to me ramble, as I'm pretty sure I'll be fairly scatterbrained throughout most of this episode. Anyway, moving right along. Hope you guys have been enjoying the cave. I know I certainly have. It's been the most amazing experience I've had in Minecraft in a long time, just seeing how gigantic this place is. And for those of you who have not been as enthused, let's say, with the caves, I hope you have appreciated the change I made to the episodes recently. You may have noticed that episodes have been about half an hour long lately. That's a change that I've decided I'm going to do anytime we're in a cave and it lasts more than, I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes, which, I don't know, maybe not by episode count, maybe by length. Regardless, I'm going to make sure that the cave episodes are long so that way they don't take up too much of the series as far as episode count goes, so that way hopefully it at least ends up feeling to you guys like we're not spending as long in them, even though the episodes are technically longer and it's all the same amount of time in the end, but I don't know, hopefully you will at least accept my screwy logic on this one. Anyway, since I have, I think, quite a bit to talk about, I wanted to kind of start off by letting you guys know that there have been quite a few things that have changed in the back cave. I've done a lot of cleanup, and I did a lot of mining and resource collecting, and before I go off and show you some of these things and start rambling, I wanted to give you guys a little recap on how we're doing now, and also I think you noticed, we have some chests in the floor. I'll start with this one. Lots and lots of extra cobblestone, as this one's completely full. Now this one you might remember used to have bones and arrows in it. Well, I had to move the bones, and, well, why? I spent a little time in our arrow factory while my parents were in town, or while my family was in town. So we are well stocked on that. Now down here, hopefully this will please everyone who has been telling me or asking in comments and all sorts of other places, why don't you get redstone? Why don't you do redstone? You should do more redstone. Hopefully this will please you guys a bit. You'll also notice that I've got excuse me, had a nasty burp right there. Got as much coal as I could find and went through a whole bunch of gravel, so that's where all this flint came from, and I'm pretty sure most of you have noticed the pistons I've got here. Well, I was going to do something really cool, and I was going to put pistons under here, and under here, under these chests, and I was going to have a little switch right here, and then I was going to flick the switch, and the boxes were going to pop up, and it was going to be awesome. Well, turns out you can't use pistons to violate the chest next to a chest rule. Thank you, Notch, for covering all your bases. Anyway, up here, I've reduced some of the things that were in here and moved them elsewhere. This was mostly just the extra stuff. Nothing special here, but this one I think is the one you guys are going to be most interested in, to see just how many resources I managed to collect. Bam! And you look at that? I have almost a stack of iron blocks. Not doing too well for gold, but hey, I mean, as it turns out, I actually don't need as much gold as I thought we did, but, well, this should do us pretty well for all the tracks we want to do. Anyway, you'll also notice that there's a lot more slime balls, so we're going to be able to have tons and tons of sticky pistons if we so desire. Something the more astutely observant of you might notice is the diamond pick that was somewhere around here has disappeared, and we're shy 3 diamond. Well, I used the first one. I used this one up completely, and, well, the other 3 that I made a pick with, I'll be getting to towards the end of this episode when I start covering more of the while you were gone stuff. Anyway, now that that's covered, I think I'm just going to start walking around and letting you guys get a big eyeful, big glimpse of all the changes that have happened while you were gone with our cave. Anyway, so as I was saying before, that I'm probably going to do a lot of talking in this episode, kind of trying to explain why things have taken so long for me to get around to recording and getting stuff up for you guys. Lately, I've been having a lot of trouble just sitting down and recording. It's not been the previous trouble where, I didn't have time. This has been more of a almost, I don't know, it feels almost silly to say it, but almost like stage fright. And I don't know, I feel kind of embarrassed even saying that. With as many episodes and hours of recording I've done for you guys, to even get the little bit, even the tiniest bit flustered when I just want to sit down and make a video for you guys, it's been crazy. And it's been driving me nuts, and I don't know, I'm not entirely sure what it is. I think I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, to be quite honest. And I'm thinking maybe it's the fact that I've been way too concerned about pleasing everyone, way too concerned about making sure that these episodes that you guys get are the best, most awesomest anything out there on YouTube. And I know that's stupid, it's silly. I don't know. Maybe it's just, yes, I've left some redstone. Maybe it just comes from partially, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'm a perfectionist, and maybe that's come out a lot in this, that if I'm not doing it completely right, then there's really no point in doing it. And again, I know that's silly, and before I continue, I just want to kind of mention that as I round these next few corners, you're going to notice a lot of changes, and something I probably should have mentioned, or wanted to mention earlier, was that if you guys can think back to the end of last episode, the way we walked out of the cave, that's more or less what I'm going to be doing here, so just keep that in mind for the visual comparison for you guys. Anyway, as I was saying, the stupidity of my stage fright. I don't know, maybe you guys will find it as silly as I do, or maybe some of you will understand, I don't know. I wish I understood it, and hi. Anyway, like I said, lots of rambling in this episode. Let's see. It's kind of silly. I had a lot of things planned out in my mind, and somehow I just knew that when I started recording, a lot of stuff was going to just disappear from my head. You guys might notice this. We'll be dealing with that towards the end of the episode as well. Okay, so like I said, I'd done a lot of thinking about this, and some of this may have started from, I know some, like I said towards the beginning, I know some of you guys are kind of getting sick of seeing the caves, and for me, being here in these caves, exploring this stuff, is probably, to me, the most fun thing in this game. Just the danger, the unknown, the discoveries, the hilarity of just things that can happen down here. For me, it's been the best part of this game, and seeing you guys saying that, oh, I'm getting sick of this, can we please do something else, and me taking that really to heart and thinking about it seriously and going, okay, well, I don't want to upset you guys, I don't want to risk losing subscribers or anything, and again, I know it's a little silly, but it just seems like I'm trying to please everyone, and I know I've said that before, but that's what it feels like to me. And something that I came up with, or at least something I've been thinking about, is that really I think it would be best for me and for you guys in general that I simply stick to doing what I think is fun, what I really want to do, what I enjoy. Because I think in the long run that while there might be some episodes that you guys don't particularly care for, you're not too enthused about, that it's better to have an episode that you're not really interested in than no episodes at all, right? I mean, at least I hope you guys agree with me. So, and as I said, for the sake of the future too, that I think to be able to know that I'm able to just sit back and record the things that I think are fun, that I really want to do, is just going to make it a lot easier for me to sit down and record in the future and stop having these stupid, weird stage fright attack thingies. I don't know. I'm explaining this terribly, I'm sure. Oh, right. This is where we come in, by the way. So, as I was saying, for the future, that I think if I know that I can be comfortable in doing that, and I know it shouldn't, this sounds like I'm asking for your permission, and I shouldn't be doing so, because, I mean, this is my channel, I'm doing this in my free time, and I'm doing this to you guys as, you know, just out of my own pure enjoyment, which I really do enjoy doing these things. And I'm rambling again. I'm probably talking a lot faster than I think I am, because I still feel a little nervous right now, which usually goes away after I've been recording for about 5 minutes. Anyway. Ah yes, you guys might remember I decided to leave a mushroom to see how it would grow. It grew a lot. Anyway, back to the point I was trying to make 3 or 4 times already now, that if I can feel comfortable doing things my own way as I want to do them, that it'll make it a lot easier for me to just sit down and actually do recordings of other games, newer games, at least newer to me, newer to you guys, seeing me LP them. And I don't know, I don't... Alright, I think I'm just going to say it. I would love it if you guys were there to back me up and support me on this decision, and I would feel a lot better about it. And again, it feels like I'm asking for your permission, and I really shouldn't feel that way. I mean, I don't know. I think that's all I really wanted to say about that right now. If something else occurs to me as I'm talking about some of these other things, then I will definitely jump to it. As, like I said, this is going to be a bit scatterbrained, a bit all over the place. As my brain comes to thinking of the idea, I'm going to pretty much just jump to it and start talking about it, because otherwise I'm probably going to forget it. I'm going to watch this episode back as I'm editing and go, damn it! Why didn't I think of that? Yes, you guys will also notice I've left the redstone torches marking where we need to go still. Anyway, like I said, I think that's about all I want to say about that. So, move on to the next topic. That should be slightly more interesting and, I don't know, interesting. I'll say it again because I think it's interesting to you guys. I know a lot of you are probably wondering what I think about the 1.8 adventure update and what I'm going to do. I don't recall having seen many questions in the comments or gotten many messages about it, but I'm pretty sure you guys are wondering about it. So I figured I would kind of go over what my plans are as they stand right now, what I'm thinking, and as I said, these are just plans. I don't really know if this is going to be what happens or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there, and we'll see how I feel about it tomorrow or next week, and, you know, down the line. Excuse me, another burp. Anyway, 1.8. It seems like it's going to be a massive, massive update, as, well, even Notch himself has said. And so what I was thinking is that I would quite probably start a new world. However, what I'm currently thinking is that I might, and I kind of want to stress might, do it as an SMP style. And I know that I've said those words. Every single one of you who is still loving this game and it definitely wants to do more SMP stuff. Hey, Nocturne, can I play too? And well, the answer is maybe. I will say this, that a number of you, or at least any of you who have seen most of the recent videos on my channel, will know of the SMP tour videos that I put out every now and then, of the SMP weekend fun that we have. Oh, wanted to be up there. Well, the SMP weekends were definitely a ton of fun, and I know all of us had a lot of fun together doing these things. And am I even in the right part of the cave for this? Thinking no. Oh well, I'll keep wondering and we'll come across it. Anyway, SMP weekend. Well, as I said, these were things that, for the most part, the way I was holding them was whenever I would have a nice long weekend off work, so that way there was plenty of time for us to sit down and enjoy and just have all sorts of fun SMP craziness. What you guys didn't know, well, actually, let me take a step back, and for those of you who don't know how people were getting invited into SMP weekend, because this is something I kind of wanted to talk about in a video anyway, and since this is a lot of talking and wandering video, I figure, hey, this is a good time to say it. Anyway, the way SMP weekend worked was anyone who followed me on Twitter was, how do I say this? Words not coming into brain. Eligible, that's it. Was eligible to join us and have all that kind of fun that we were doing. Because basically the way it worked is, I don't know, a day or two, sometimes even the day of SMP week, the beginning of an SMP weekend, I would send out a tweet saying, alright guys, who's interested? The first X number of people who message me on YouTube, their Minecraft name are in. And that's pretty much how it's worked all 4 times we've done it so far. Because there have been 3 SMP weekends, and then there was the SMP weekend birthday bash, which I mentioned to you guys, I don't know, a number of episodes ago. Well, we're back here. Alright, anyway. So yes, that's how that was working out. So now, I'm not doing this in any sort of way to try and, I don't know, garner more followers on Twitter. That's not what that's there for. The only reason I was doing this was sort of as a way to encourage you guys. Oh, shit. Oh, not where I wanted to be. Not where I wanted to be. I am so glad I managed to recover from that. Crap. I thought I was holding shift. Shit. Let's just get the hell out of here so I can keep talking. Anyway, yes, that's what this redstone torch was pointing at. I was wondering if there was more down there, and now we know. Anyway, SMP weekend, yes. That's basically how things were happening, how people were getting in, and how we were all getting together and having our fun. Now, what those of you who were actually able to make it in were not aware of is that SMP weekend was definitely there for fun. It was definitely there for us to get together and for, you know, all you subscribers who managed to get in, and me, to just have a way to come together and have some fun and communicate and, you know, just do something together as fun. But as I said, what you did not know is that technically you were auditioning. And you'll understand why I did not tell you this. And auditioning for what? Well, what did I just mention? Probably 5 or 10 minutes ago now. I don't know how long I've been rambling about this piece yet. Well, for the case that I would ever actually put up my own SMP server and start LPing from there. And as it stands right now, there are 2 definites. One, he already knows this, and if he would stop moving around and finally get back to his internet connection, he would know this already, and we could actually get started on something. Again, if I do decide to do this. And the other, well, he doesn't know yet, but I will say this. He has been around for all 4 SMP weekends, and I don't know if that's enough to give it away yet. If it is, I hope you keep your mouth shut. And if you do want to guess, you can definitely PM me here on YouTube, and I will confirm it or deny it for you. There are currently, I want to say 3, maybe 4 maybes, as in, once I decide to start adding more people to the server, then they will definitely be moved up into the list as yeses. Zombie splashing in water. Oh well. Now, I hope you guys are excited about this information, as I'm hoping I'm going to be. And the reason I say it that way is that, as awesome as the 1.8 update is supposed to be, and as much as I am actually looking forward to it, I don't know what it's going to do to change the game. I don't know what things are going to be like. And I don't know. Right now, it's a lot of the problem is I've got a lot of, I don't know, how do I say this? The only thing popping in my head right now is buyer's remorse, and that's not even remotely what I'm going for. I guess I'm feeling a little burned after the Halloween update. You know, the last major, gigantic, add tons of things to the game update that Notch did. Because the Boo update, the Halloween update, the one that added the Nether, that was supposed to be this big, new, awesome thing that was going to add so much to the game, and it was going to be just wow. And as most of you guys know, well, the Nether was not very impressive for me, and as you have seen in this LP, it took me 8 chapters just to just to work up the nerve to go back in there again and see what it was like. So again, that's why I keep saying maybe and I don't know, and again, rambling is fun. You make no sense. Anyway, so yes, it's a strong maybe, and the only other thing that really kind of has concerned me about going forward with the LP like this is that to do SMP you really need an actual hosted server, not just something running on your spare computer, which, as much as I've wanted to avoid saying this, that's exactly where SMP Weekend server has been hosted, on the computer sitting in another room in my office. And, well, that has done good enough to support the 5 or 8 people that have been concurrently on the SMP Weekend server, but I think to do something more stable, to do something LP worthy, to do something that where we're actually going to have real people in, like some of you guys actually in there playing the game and doing all sorts of stuff at any time of day, that I'm going to need an actual server solution that is more stable than the computer in my office that likes to crash every 3 to 5 weeks for some reason. Probably because I don't reboot it ever, but that's neither here nor there. Hopefully you guys aren't too bored with this episode yet, but given the way I started this episode, I'm hoping you're understanding why all I really want to do is wander around right now. So, back to 1.8 update and future SMP LP possibilities. Something else I want to talk about. Some of you might be wondering, well, what about me? I don't follow you on Twitter. I don't really give a damn about Twitter, and Twitter can go straight to hell, and so can you for asking me to follow you on Twitter. And, well, I completely understand that, and I'm not asking any of you guys to do something you don't want to, that you're not comfortable with. The Twitter thing was really just a way for me to help keep you guys informed on a large scale that was simple, easy, and all in one place kind of thing. You know, the whole, oh, hey guys, sorry, no episode tonight because of XYZ kind of thing. And I'll admit I've kind of been abusing the whole, all of you guys who are following me on Twitter, because over this last week I have been kind of avoiding it, trying not to mention pretty much what I opened up this episode with. And, well, anyway, now that I've gone about 500 miles away from the point I was trying to get to this time, let me get back to it real quick. So, you don't follow me on Twitter, you don't want to follow me on Twitter, and you hate the idea of following me on Twitter or even Twitter itself. So, you've never been to SMP weekend, you've never had your chance to quote-unquote audition, so you really, really want to be a part of this potential SMP LP coming up, if the adventure update is everything I'm hoping it is. I just realized I forgot to make the point about the hosted server. Let me step back real quick. I did warn you guys this was going to happen, so... the whole thing about the hosted server is that because I want to actually get a real server, a hosted server, something stable, the one I've been looking at is actually the exact same one Good uses for his SMP server. It's just a hosted Linux box. It's basically someone out there has a Linux box and they rent it out to you over a really nice fast connection. And the one he uses, and like I said, the one I'm looking at is about $100 a month, $99 a month. And while it's not the price that gets me, I can afford this, and I'm going to hold off on saying that next thing that just ran through my head. The only thing that does bother me about the $100 a month is that if I do start this and the adventure update is not everything it's cracked up to be, everything we're all hoping it is, that, I don't know, maybe I'm just being a little paranoid about this too, but that $100 is a lot of money to just throw down the drain if after a few days you're sick and tired and bored and this turned out to be a terrible waste of money. And that's the other part of why I'm leaving it as a strong maybe for me going ahead with this. Anyway, let's jump back to where I was again 5 minutes ago. You guys like how I'm going in all these kind of circular loop figure 8 thingies with my conversation. How in the heck are you going to actually be able to join me and any of the others that are going to be a part of this SMP server? Well, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to force you to follow me on Twitter or show up at an SMP or find a way to get into SMP weekend to join me. If you guys want to do either of those things, I wholeheartedly welcome you to, because I think that we will continue the SMP weekend fun, and if I do end up getting this hosted Linux server, that I'll be able to run more than one server at a time on that thing, and it'll be a lot easier to have an SMP weekend server and have a LP server, and even a server for other random randomness. Anyway, half lost my train of thought. This is what I get for not doing any recording for about 3.5 weeks, I guess. I forget how to think and play and talk at the same time. Okay, so, how do you get in to join us? I'm sure I have said that probably about 12 times now, and I swear to God I'm going to finish the sentence this time. How do you get in to join us? Well, what I'm thinking is that, first off, I'm not making this a requirement. It's a strong, I don't know, point in your favor. But I would like anyone who does join the server to be someone who's comfortable LPing, as, yes, up there. I would definitely like it to be that you're comfortable LPing, because I kind of want to be able to have this multifaceted view of things happening on the server. I know for anyone who does watch Good, is subscribed to Good, has watched both seasons of his LP, a lot of this stuff is going to sound familiar, and, well, I'll admit, a lot of this was inspired by some of the things he was saying and some of the stuff he's done, because, honestly, he's done a really good job with what he's got going there, and I see no reason why we shouldn't try and bring some of the best of that into here, but, you know, do it our own way. So that's kind of why I would definitely like to know that there are people LPing, because, for one, I think that almost will make you more active on the server, and, well, for two, it'll ensure that you actually have a microphone, so that way if we ever do some big group activity on the server, you know, just 12-man spelunking or something like that, I don't know, a big-ass raid on a cave, that we'll actually be able to communicate over more than just typing at each other. That's the very minor reason I would like LPers to be the guys on the server. And as I said, not a requirement, just a strong point in your favor. So how do you get in? Well, I am definitely going to be holding some contests. And hello, gigantic slime. So yes, this is basically how I kept getting all of the slime balls you guys saw. So yeah, I will be holding some contests. I actually have no idea what kind of contests I'll be doing. Something else that I know I definitely would like to have in people who are joining me on well, calling it my server is silly since I don't actually have one yet, but just go with it. Things that I would definitely like to have is builders. Mostly because while I do some building myself, as you guys have plainly seen in this LP, I don't always seem to have the inspiration to build something. And something I have really loved about other SMP servers that I used to go to long before I started this LP was just some of the amazing things people were building, and I think having someone who's really good at that on the server would just be a really great benefit to just the overall world itself. It would just really add to everything, I think. Something else that is very important to have is an expert at redstone, because it hurts my head and I hate thinking about it. I know that the one guy who, as I said earlier, knows he's already in, is pretty good at redstone himself, but by all means, the more the merrier, because now that we've got pistons in, there's all the more reason to have some people who are really good at redstone to make all these really awesome things. Anyway, contests. I have absolutely no idea what kind of contests I would hold. Given the fact that I said I would really like the idea of having builders and people good at redstone, it might involve something like that. But for those of you who aren't really good at those things like I am, well, I don't want to exclude you guys either. And how do I get up here? I know it's up there I want to be. I mean, this works, but... Oh. I am stupid. I've got an interesting screenshot I'm going to throw up on my Twitter later for you guys once this episode goes live of this very view. Also, I wonder how many of you guys noticed this when I first wandered in here, because I sure as hell didn't until I was editing the third or fourth time. Okay, again, contests. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure what kind I might do. And actually what I was trying to say, for those of you who aren't good at these things that, like I said, that I'm not, I don't want to exclude you guys or single you guys out as making it impossible to let some of you guys in, because I'm sure some of you would be really awesome people to play with as well, to have on the server. So, I don't know. If you guys, like me, suck at redstone and tend to have all sort of creative block when it comes to building awesome things, give me some ideas. Throw some stuff out there in the comment section below. Just what kind of contest do you think would be fun? And, you know, what the hell? What kind of contest do you think if I held you would win? I mean, I'm just going to say it that way. I don't know. I need some ideas, guys, and I hope you'll help me with this. Because I think even for those who don't enter the contest, people will definitely enjoy seeing the submissions. Same as we did for the first contest that I ever had here, which, yes, I will finally do something about the Design the Cave base contest. Like I said before, I think we all know who the winner is, and like I asked at the end of the last episode, what should I do? How should we do this? I think I will just go ahead and do the copy-paste with MC Edit, just because it'll be quick, easy, and it will... Let me get back to exploring. There might be some finishing touches I'll remove so that way I can do them on screen, you know, like building a tree now that we can actually place leaves legitimately. And let's see. I have this nice list in front of me of other things I want to talk about this episode. So I think I have beaten to death this dead horse of a subject of the 1.8 update and an SMP server. If you guys have any more questions about anything I've said so far about that, or just the stuff I talked about earlier about how I want to I think I've spoken enough about that anyway. Like I said earlier, it felt a little embarrassing talking about that, and I kind of want to shut up about it right now. Anyway, next on my list that I wish to talk about is, before my parents were visiting, you guys might have noticed I was trying to stick to a schedule. One that I intend to get back to once I get back into the swing of recording and feeling comfortable again doing such things, is that I was releasing one new episode every other day. And while I know you guys wish I could do it every day, as much as I wish I could do it every day, to start, I think I really just need to do it every other day because, one, it gives me, say, day 1, I do some recording, day 2, I do some editing, day 3, I release the video, and then we cycle and repeat, because on day 3, I'd probably do some more recording, and on day 4, I would do editing, and on day 5, I'd release and I'd record. So it just would be a lot simpler for me, and I don't know, it just struck me again that I hope you guys aren't getting bored of seeing the same scenery over and over again, but, I just kind of want to drill this into your brain. Remember everything about this cave. It will be important. Maybe. So yes, I will try and stick to a schedule, as I know just even having that little amount of stability on this channel will probably help a lot, and I don't know, not upset as many of you when I go a week and a half with no video and no explanation. That if it ends up being a week and a half with no video and no explanation, then something has probably gone wrong, or I decided to go on vacation and not tell anyone, or I don't know. I don't know. Speculating about the future is not something I do often. Which is why I am still leaving the SMP thing as the strong baby. Anyway, in addition to the schedule, I guess I blocked that off finally. In addition to the schedule, I wonder how many of you have noticed that I have changed up the channel description, or the description of my channel on my channel page. You'll notice that I've added a couple new games on there, that I've changed it up from what it used to say of more or less just the basic description of what this LP is. I've actually updated it since I've now changed the format of this LP, and I've added a couple other games that I would like to LP in the future. And again, in the future, I think I'm going to try and stick to updating that to let you guys know what my plans are. I don't know if I'll always tell you the next game I plan on LPing, but if you guys need any sort of clue about what I'm going to LP, that will definitely be the place you can check. Because, like I said, I hope to be able to keep that up to date a lot better than I've been keeping the website up to date. Now, granted, I'm only about 3 or 4 episodes behind in posting updates, but even staying that far behind is kind of annoying to me. I find this so hilarious. It's awesome. I don't even have to go outside to get ink anymore. It's perfect. Okay. Next kind of big thing on the list here in front of me. We are getting really, really close to 500 subscribers now. I think last night when I checked it was 496, so we are within spitting distance, as they say. And I do indeed have plans for a 500 subscriber special. It's going to be, I hope, very interesting and very fun for you guys. It's not going to be exactly a video. There will be a video about it, and hopefully this weekend I will have some time to sit down and record that, or at least get things together and record the video, so that way when we do hit 500, I'll be able to just turn the video from private to public, and instantly everyone will know the awesomeness that has come because you guys are the truly awesome ones here who have brought my channel this far and put up with all the rambling I do in videos like this, which I know this is pretty much the first video where it's just been me talking, and I don't know if I'll do these in the future or not. I just really had a lot on my chest that I think that has been another big part of why it's been so hard for me to sit down and record, that I've just been kind of holding this all in and hoping I can work it out eventually, and I think I just needed to say it out loud. And because I am feeling better, although I always seem to after I've been recording this long. I have no idea how long this video is already. I'm sure you guys can look right down there at the bar on YouTube and see how long it's been. And if you don't want to look and you're wondering how long this episode's going to be, well, I can't tell you right now, but I kind of want to cover all these things, and however long this episode ends up being, whether it be 45 minutes or an hour or something even more ridiculous, I'm going to upload it to YouTube in as few pieces as they'll let me based on video length. I'm pretty sure I can do an hour no problem. I don't know about 2 hours, and I don't know if any of you would still be here listening to me after 2 hours of talking. Anyway, my favorite phrase, anyway. The 500 subscriber special is going to be special. And I sort of gave a hint to it recently on a comment I left on the last episode, 96 I believe it was. So if any of you are interested in a clue, you guys can go there and check and try and figure out which comment it is that is the clue. So think of it as a clue scavenger hunt kind of thing. Related sort of to the 500 subscriber special, you might notice we're getting awfully close to 100 episodes. Well, I wasn't planning on doing anything super special because the 500 subscriber special is so close, and that, to be quite honest, in the beginning I didn't know if I was going to make it this many episodes in. But I think I will definitely be uploading a extra long episode for you guys for that. Some sort of I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do anything out of the ordinary. I'm just going to continue proceeding with playing this game and recording it, and I'll pick a really awesome hour out of all the recording lately, and that will be your 100 subscriber special, or 100 episode special. Something else I could do, if you guys might be interested, is potentially a CTR game, for those of you who know what that is. Capture the record, for those of you who are unfamiliar. It's pretty much just capture the flag, but in Minecraft, where you have to capture the record instead. If you guys are unfamiliar with it, I wonder why, as... well, I don't know. I guess I can go ahead and explain that. I've been talking about all sorts of other things already. Let's talk about this too. Basically, CTR, at least the way that I've seen it played, all 3 times that I'm aware that it's happened, it kind of started with Satori Love during her birthday. I'm pretty sure almost all of you know who Satori is. She's probably one of the best and most famous female Minecrafters out there, considering how few of them there are. That's, well, it's still a pretty big thing to say. Anyway, for her birthday, they decided to have this really cool, fun birthday bash for her with SMP. And instead of just having, everyone running around on the map doing something, they decided to have this crazy kind of competition. And CTR was born out of that. So what it is there are 2 sides of a field. It's usually from ground level, like 64, up to the sky limit of 128. And there's just this giant obsidian box. I forget the dimensions. I think it's 50 by 50 on both sides, so it's like 50 by 100. So each team gets this 50 by 50 by 64 size area, and each team has about 5 hours. Actually, they have exactly 5 hours to come up with anything they need, anything they think they will need to A, defend their record, and B, go on the offensive and steal the other team's record. So a lot of it ends up being resource gathering, base building, defense building, I guess, weapon construction, trap setting, all sorts of interesting things like that. And then after the 5 hours are up, the wall in the center of this 50 by 100 space comes down, and it's just PvP melee madness, and it has looked like a lot of fun. Most recently, Michael of Michael Mines, for those of you guys who are familiar with him, did the same thing for his 100 episode special, and now that I said that, it does sound like I'm copying him, but like I said, I'm throwing this out here as something that could be fun and interesting, and something that I've never actually done and thought might be fun for us to do together. I have no idea what I was doing down here. Okay, as I hop out of here. Ah, yes, here. Ah, the memories. Next up, I've been seeing a lot of comments over the last month or two from a lot of you guys talking about how, a lot of comments, a lot of messages talking about how it's weird that you're not seeing my videos showing up in your subscription box, that YouTube seems to be forgetting to send them to you, or they seem to get lost somehow. And yeah, I have absolutely no idea what's up with that. I'm pretty sure it's just YouTube being good old buggy YouTube, and that there's not a whole lot to be done about it as far as checking your sub box. However, there are things that one can do. One, you could follow me on Twitter, as I've mentioned a couple times, because every time I release a new episode, I always end up posting a message there letting you guys know that the new episode is out and ready to watch. Something else you guys can do that does not involve Twitter in any way, shape, or form, which will please a number of you, I'm sure, as with nearly 500 subscribers and only 34 followers on Twitter, well, ow. I think those numbers speak for themselves. Anyway, something else you guys can do that's all YouTube-based. When you're looking at your sub box and you've got your list of videos from all your different subscriptions, just scroll down the list, look on the left side for my screen name, Nocturne in Black, click on that, and it'll show you the last 100 videos I've uploaded, or last 50 or so. And if you see an episode in there that you haven't seen, well, click it, because that's probably the one you're missing that YouTube has failed to tell you about. Something else you guys could do also is you could just go and look at my channel. That tends to keep up to date all the time. That's something YouTube has not screwed up yet. So, I hope that helps you guys with that, and that in the future, if you seem to be missing episodes from me, or if it seems to be an extremely long time that you haven't seen a video from me, and it's not been one of these weird sabbaticals I've had, well, now you hopefully have a way and a solution to find out whether or not I really have any new videos ready to go or not yet, or not. Let's see. What was next here? Ah, yes. Console games. 360, PS3. How are things coming with that, and why the hell haven't you started recording those games yet for us, Nocturne? What's wrong with you? It's been like months since you told us about this. Rabble, 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 and other sort of things. I don't know. Thought I saw another slime. Well, things are going pretty good on that front, more or less. I finally got the capture card. It's a Blackmagic Intensity Pro, for anyone who wants to go look that up. It's not a cheap item, but it's definitely one of the better solutions out there, one of the easier ones. I was mostly interested in it because it was an internal PCI Express card, and I don't know, I feel more comfortable with an internal card than an external device, especially one that requires USB 3.0, which is something I do not have. Please don't kill me on this ladder. Thank you. Anyway, for those of you who have been following me on Twitter, you already know about this next thing I'm going to mention, but I have thrown some test videos up out there of some of the 360 recording I've done. Let me stop talking while I make bread, because this is apparently a very complicated thing to be doing. So far, the videos that I've posted are currently what YouTube considers hidden, not private. So if any of you guys are actually interested in seeing some of these test videos, I could be convinced to throw them into the video description if there's enough call for it in the comments section below. But for now, I'm just going to leave them hidden, and anyone who has seen them from following me on Twitter, yes, I keep mentioning that site. I swear I'm not trying to plug anything here. It's just been like I said, the convenient way for me to get information out in one centralized location. For For those of you guys who have seen them, feel free to share them out, spread them around to any of your friends who are also subscribers and would be interested. Because the only reason I made them hidden and not private or public is that I really wanted this to be just another special thing to thank those of you who have decided to follow me to the dark side and do the Twitter. Now, as far as PS3 recording, I was held up on that for a while because the 360 is actually very nice. I don't know how much you guys know about, let's see, what is it, HDCP, I believe it's called. Basically, it's the HDMI copy protection. It's something that some manufacturers add to the signal from their HDMI output. Basically, it encrypts the connection between the device and your television. And as a lot of people say, it's not necessarily encrypted to keep people from jacking into the middle and I don't know, copying the signal, making it easy to, say, I don't know, record gameplay, for example. They say it's not because of that, but that the encryption actually provides a decent amount of compression, so you're able to get a lot more quality bit per second wise. Anyway, 360 is actually very nice about that. The graphics look fine, in my opinion, without it, but they don't use HDCP, so I was able to just go with the out-of-the-box HDMI connection from my 360 to the card. And so that's why those test videos came out first. Now, as I said, fortunately 360 does that. Unfortunately, Sony does not with the PS3. You actually have to go out and buy their component cables, which is kind of impossible to do that encryption thing with. Anyway, I finally got them. I finally got things hooked up, and I finally got things running. And I tested it, and it works great. I haven't had a chance to actually do any test recording of games with it yet. Once I do, I will definitely be throwing those out across Twitter again to give you guys some updates on how things are looking, kind of get your input on what looks good to you guys, because there's a lot of tweaking and a lot of playing with settings with this stuff, just so it looks nice and good, because, like I said before, I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist, so I want it to look really nice before it goes out to the masses. Now, as I said, it's been going pretty good mostly. There has been one little snag so far, and that's, first, I really want to get a headset with a mic, or even better, just a mic with no headphones. And why no headphones? Well, because of what's actually been the problem lately. What it's been so far, the funny, let me say it this way. The Intensity Pro is a really great card. It works really well in my system. However, the recording software that it comes with that is easiest to use because of the way things work with this card is kind of crappy. It does a great job recording video and audio. It does a great job recording. However, it does not actually decode audio on the fly. It will decode the video on the fly so you can get a nice preview of what you're recording, but you can't hear a damn thing. I was like, well, what the hell? How is this useful? And you guys might be wondering, well, why does that matter? You can just plug in your headphones and get the sound that way. Well, if the program's not outputting any sound, there's no sound to be heard. And there is a way around this. The card does have an HDMI out, which I have hooked right back into my TV. And I'm able to get audio and video out of that perfectly, and it sounds great and it looks great, and it's no different than if I had actually plugged the console right into the TV itself. But again, here's where one of the other problems comes up, is that if I do get a really nice headset, and to let you guys know, the one I've been looking at, I believe it's the, what is it, the Logitech G35, something like that. I know, it's apparently one of the really nice ones, and it looks really nice. But my problem with getting a headset with headphones and mic is that if I end up using that to record, because I definitely want to be able to just, sit on my couch and play like anyone else plays video games, and not have to, sit here at my desk, my table, with the tabletop mic right in front of my face so you guys can hear me. So the problem, hopefully you guys have put two and two together by now. that if the Intensity Pro's recording software does not output sound, and the headset that has the mic also has headphones on it, what happens when I put the headphones on and try to record, even though I've got the stuff streaming out of the TV? Well, the mic is hooked into the computer. The computer is outputting audio and video to the TV, but if I've got the headphones on, then it's going to be muffling the sound coming from the speakers from my TV. So I'm not going to be able to hear things very well. And I'm going to be getting nothing out of the headphones because, like I said, the recording software does not output any audio. I don't know if there are ways around this thing using something like virtual audio cables. I don't know. Sound is not really my forte, my area of expertise. So if I can get any help from some of you guys about this, that would be awesome. Because the sooner I can get these things worked out, the sooner I can actually get to thinking about what game I want to actually record first. And as I said last time I was running through here, I wasn't sure if I was going to actually tell you guys what game I might LP next, but I think I'll let you guys in on this one. The first game I'm planning on LPing will be a 360 game, when I get to it eventually, and I believe it was going to be Darksiders. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that one. It's a game that I've been looking forward to ever since I first heard about it, and to be quite honest, it's sitting here on my desk still in its shrink wrap, so I'm hoping to be able to take it out here one day soon. Anyway, hope all that made sense to you guys. If you guys have any other suggestions for headset mics that don't have the headphones but are really good microphones that I could use, that I could get, that also have USB connections, because I've seen some really nice ones, but they've got the 3.5mm audio jack connections, and that's analog audio, and I'm really looking for something that keeps the digital audio going. Wasn't he here last time we wandered through? Zombie, despawn already. I'm really looking for a digital solution here, because that's the mic I'm using now. It affords me a lot more choices when it comes to recording and playing with the audio than analog does. Plus, again, as I've said, audio is not my thing, but I get the strong feeling that, yeah, you were close. I get the feeling that analog just really loses a lot of quality, and it even sounds a little more staticky. So, to recap slightly, if you guys have any suggestions for headphones or a way to find a possible solution using virtual audio cables or something to get around this problem of actually being able to pull the audio out of the stream that's being recorded, so that way when I'm wearing the headphones I can still get the game sound even though I've got the video being piped to the TV. I don't know. I'm really hoping someone out there is an expert on this or has done it before and can be like, Nocturne, you do this, this, and that's how it works. And you'll be like, holy shit, that was easy. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And I will be sure to give you many, many thanks in probably the very first video I record, because it will be pretty much all because of you that these things have happened. Now, out of strange curiosity, let's see, how long have I been recording for? Holy crap, it's been an hour. Hope you guys are still here and are still listening. Like I said, I'm uploading this whole thing all the way through. I've only got a couple of more things I want to talk about. Just some kind of update things. Let's see. I'm going to stare at the floor here for a second while I read my list. Did that one, and check. Yes, got that one. And that one, and that one, and that one. I'll leave that one for an actual episode. Okay, and I think I will cover these last two. So, the Terraria LP. I know a number of you have asked about that in the past. What's happened to it? When's the next episode coming out? And to be bluntly honest, I don't know. I've kind of lost interest in the game. I've gotten about as far as is possible in the game, and to where I still found it fun. The only things I have left in the game are to kill Skeletron and raid the dungeon, and both of those are feeling like a very huge meh. You know, I mean, there's really no reward for killing Skeletron because there's really no reward for going into the dungeon. Because if you spend enough time in the underworld and you mine enough hellstone, everything you have found in there is about 10 times more valuable than anything you would find in the dungeon of that game. I mean, there are a couple items. The Muramasa is, it's got that cool factor of it's one of the best swords that you can just hold down, click, and you don't have to keep clicking to keep slashing. And there's the Cobalt Shield, I guess, that prevents knockback. But again, once you've upgraded all the way and you've got all this armor, it's just like, I don't really need that stuff. And I don't know. Maybe a lot of my losing interest came from this whole recording problem, stage fright thing I was talking about an hour ago now. And so maybe I will get back to it, but I just kind of wanted to throw it out here. There are no promises, guys. I would ideally like to finish it because, in addition to being a perfectionist, I tend to be a completionist, where if I start watching a show, even if I hate it, I tend to watch it all the way through, just in case there was something in there that was good, and, I can say, yes, I watched it all the way through. Even though it sucked, I watched it all the way through, and I can confirm it sucked because I watched it all the way. I don't know. Rambling again. Now, I know you guys are probably going to argue that Terraria's got some big updates coming next week, because it's Thursday the 4th right now, for anyone curious. That I know, what is it? The developer for Terraria. So used to seeing Blue's tweets that I keep forgetting. Yeah, that's it. Redigit Red. Promised that they're hoping to have 106 out next week, and given the changelog that they were hinting at for 106, I'm still feeling very much meh about it. I mean, I'm sure I'll check it out. I'll see how interesting it is, and I'll be playing it on my own just to see what's going on. But I don't think I'll be doing any recording of it. Now, something I did find interesting in one of their dev blogs is that 107 or 108 or whatever it is, that they plan on adding a whole bunch of new stuff to the game. New bosses, new world, new areas, new biomes, new items, new weapons, new everything. And if and when they finally get that out, if it is 107, if it is 108, and if I am doing this 1.8 adventure map update on an SMP world with that Linux box, then well, okay, never mind, I have to take that back. I was going to say it'd be really easy to set up a Terraria multiplayer server on that same box, except Terraria's .NET and Linux don't get along without Mono, and as I understand it, Mono can be a pain in the ass to get up and running. But, moving right along, if Terraria does turn out to be this really awesome thing, same as I said for the adventure update here, if it does turn out to be that really awesome thing, I would really love to do a multiplayer LP of that new stuff, and if and when that comes around, I'll let you guys know, and we'll see what we're doing. That, and who might be able to join with that. Right now, I'm thinking that I've got one person in mind that I would probably want to do this with, and I might limit it to no more than 3 for this particular LP. And again, for that, I think it would probably be best if we were all actually recording our adventures there, but I don't know. That's something for way further down the line, and I feel like having talked for an hour now that your ears are probably hurting, and I should maybe hurry it up and get to this last thing on here and say goodbye to you guys already, because my mouth is getting really dry too. Okay, so remember how I said there was this one last thing? I lied. Wanted to point out some of these things and collect up that diamond. Anyway, the last thing on my list that I want to talk about is that I doubt many of you, if any of you, have noticed, but sometime last month I actually locked down the website. And by lockdown, I mean that I locked down the ability to leave a comment on anything, because the spam bots from Russia and Poland and China and Thailand were really, really starting to piss me off. I mean, it was okay when it was, 5 or 6 a day, but it started getting to where it was 5 or 6 an hour, and every single one was some stupid douchebag promoting child porn sites, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, really? No. So, I had to put an end to that. That was just wrong. Anyway, lightening the mood again. I locked it down, so now if you guys want to leave a comment, you will have to register an account. It's pretty much just email address and a password, nothing special to it. And it's I was really hoping to be able to leave things open because originally all I ever asked for was the usual default like WordPress comment style where, give me your email address so I know you're not a bot, and pick a username and then post your message, and that's all I care about. And there was absolutely no what is it? Filtering is not the word I want, but going through and checking the comment, no approval process to get a comment up there, but there still isn't. If you've got a registered account, you'll be able to post any comment instantly. There's no trial period. There's none of that. I don't know how many of you guys have even used the site or looked at the site, or even know it exists. For those of you who don't know it exists, there's a link in the video description that you might want to check out. There's some interesting maps there of the world that you have seen here, and I highly encourage you to look at them. Anyway, that is the last for my list. Now, I'm going to leave that one for last. Let us head back into the cave here and finally collect up that beautiful, beautiful diamond. And for once, I will spare you guys and I will jump right ahead to it. Alright, and here we are, getting ready to walk up and claim the beautiful blue. Come here, precious. You're mine. Yeah. So it's funny, when I was down here cleaning up this area, you guys remember how convoluted it was once long ago? And now it's this wonderful, beautiful, spacious area that I was coming along and I was getting ready to flatten this area up here, and so I started digging up the ceiling and getting stuff out of the way, and then bam! Out of nowhere, more beautiful diamond. So I think I will finally finish flattening this out sometime off screen, now that we have finally collected up these buttes. So on our way back to the other one, kind of need to go into a little explanation about what happened. As I was wandering around, you guys may have noticed the hallway that leads from down in the cave base to up near the entrance, near the safe drop, the one I use. Excuse me, apparently my throat is starting to dry out from talking for an hour. Give me a second, yeah? Okay, that's better. If you guys don't know the area I'm talking about, don't worry. I will be pointing it out because that's where we're going to be starting off with when I get there. Anyway, you guys might have noticed the cobblestone against the smooth stone, which for up there was a very odd thing to be seeing. As down here I quite literally gave up on doing smooth stone everywhere. Anyway, there was coal where you see the cobblestone, and since I was doing all the resource collecting, trying to fully clean out the back cave, I decided, hey, why don't I, or rather, I finished back there, and I was like, well, let's see if there's anything up in the other piece of the cave that I left behind, because I do recall leaving a lot of redstone and a lot of coal. So let's go ahead and gather that up while we're at it, because, hey, why not? And as you guys can see, or as you guys saw, again, like an hour ago, I did pretty well about that. Well, turns out collecting that coal was, well, I'm going to skip ahead here and I'll show you. Okay, so this was the nice first piece of coal that I walked by all the time. Dug that out, and there was a couple pieces of coal. I think there was like 2 showing here and 2 showing here, so I dug that all out. And as I was grabbing stuff up, I completely assumed that this was nice and solid all the way through, which one never should. So, but even still, I decided to be right here, and so I dug this block up, I dug it up, and I was going to jump in, and I was going to grab the coal that fell down, and, well, it kept going down. And, well, I believe right here? No. Perhaps it was this one. Yeah, that one. You see there's water there now? That wasn't water originally. Yeah. That was a lava fall to begin with. Uh-huh. I'm pretty sure you all have guessed exactly what I'm going to say next. Lava, you stupid evil son of a bitch! Ah! Anyway, from right about, I think here, this level, was a giant lava lake, underground lava lake, that extended to this wall and to this wall. So I guess it wasn't giant, it was like a little lava pond underground. Well, it angered me, and I felt I needed to get even. So I gathered up all the gravel I had in my chests up in the cave base, made, I think, like 8 stone shovels, and set off down here to get even with this bastard lava lake. Turns out this thing connected a lot more places than I thought it did, and I kind of wanted to share that with you guys now because I thought it was funny. So, yeah, I would have been completely submerged in lava at this point. Just kind of an FYI. And you guys might recall before I mentioned I was going to tell you guys what happened to the second diamond pick. Well, that's what I was holding when I was mining up the coal up there, so... Stupid lava! There's more lava down here that I didn't quite get even with because I figured if it's buried in the adminium, I don't give a damn. This... Well, as you can see, we are underneath the obsidian. If you guys don't know where this is, I'll point it out here in a second. So, I'm pretty sure you know, when you're under obsidian, what's usually there? Yes. The lava angered me greatly, guys. It angered me greatly, and it had to go. Stupid lava. But, fortunately, as you saw, we were able to recover a little bit of diamond, so we can get at least 1 pick back out of that. But, in keeping at this, because part of it was I was pissed off and wanted vengeance, and part of it was really me hoping to find diamond underneath the lava, because, you know, I know it's not a guaranteed thing that you're always going to find diamond there, but, you know, it does seem to occur there rather naturally, rather often, so I was in the back of my mind hoping that, you know, I'd run across a little more diamond. As you can see, that was not really the case, until I stumbled upon this area, and I started to remove the lava. This might be interesting to you guys, where this actually wraps around to. Let me show you. Right here. This was the lava lake that we came to grab lava for the spider string factory we made. We're going to have to find another supply of lava now, but you know what? I'm okay with losing this if it means finding all of this beautiful stuff. Because the 6 diamond I went through on those 2 diamond picks has been completely made up for with interest. And with that, guys, I am finally done with my long talk and my catching you guys up on all the things you missed while you were not here, while I had relatives in town visiting. This was about all I was able to accomplish with them here. I wasn't able to do any editing, so that's why things were so delayed back then. And anyway, as I said, I don't even know how long ago now. If you guys have any questions about anything I've covered in this video, and I hope all of you have actually watched this to the very end, to me saying this little spiel here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. If you have any even comments or ridicules or anything you want to say about this, if this episode evoked any sort of statement in your brain while you were watching it, feel free to share. I'm sure we'd love to hear it. Just don't be an ass. That's all I ask. It's a simple, humble request. Not that that will stop many of you. I am aware of what the internet is like. Anyway, I wanted to thank all you guys for being amazing people, for doing all the things you have done that have helped me to keep going on doing this show, on doing recording, on being an LPer, and just in general, I don't know, all the great things you guys do, and for especially putting up with all the talking I've done in this video. Thank you 1,000 times, thank you. You'll probably get a lot more of that in the 500 subscriber special video. But with that, this has been Nocturne. Thank you one last time, and I will see you guys again in the next episode, where we will once again resume exploring this amazing cave of ours. I'll see you guys next time.